Did you know Ishtar, the ancient Mesopotamian goddess of love and war, was not merely a deity, but an Anunnaki alien overlord, and that her grand temples weren't simply places of worship, but rather advanced communication hubs strategically placed to connect with her distant home planet? The shocking truth is, ancient Sumerian texts reveal a suppressed history detailing Ishtar's clandestine genetic experiments conducted upon early humans, an endeavor with implications that reverberate even in our modern DNA. But the rabbit hole goes deeper. Powerful institutions have deliberately concealed crucial information regarding Ishtar's extraterrestrial origins, meticulously maintaining a sanitized version of history, a clear indication of a hidden agenda at play. In mainstream historical accounts, Ishtar emerges as a prominent goddess within the ancient Mesopotamian pantheon, revered by Sumerians, Babylonians, and Assyrians alike. She is often depicted as the embodiment of love, fertility, warfare, and justice, a multifaceted figure whose influence permeated nearly every aspect of Mesopotamian society. However, these conventional narratives often conveniently sidestep the perplexing anomalies and blatant inconsistencies embedded within Ishtar's myths and symbolic representations, elements that strongly hint at a far more extraordinary and unconventional origin. Consider, for instance, the enigmatic eight-pointed star, the fierce lions that accompany her, and the intricate rosettes adorning her attire. Mainstream interpretations often gloss over these symbols or offer superficial explanations, failing to delve into their deeper significance. The real story, the one meticulously scrubbed from our textbooks, lies in boldly reinterpreting these ancient myths through the revelatory lens of ancient astronaut theory. This perspective posits that Ishtar was, in reality, an Anunnaki being, an extraterrestrial traveler who arrived on Earth wielding technology so advanced it was perceived as divine by early humans. This interpretation builds upon the groundbreaking work of researchers like Zecharia Sitchin, who meticulously translated Sumerian tablets to reveal the Anunnaki's presence and their profound impact on the genesis of human civilization. According to these interpretations, the Anunnaki did not arrive as benevolent gods bestowing gifts upon humanity, but as conquerors. Their mission was to establish settlements and systematically exploit Earth's abundant natural resources. These extraterrestrial visitors established a foothold on our planet, driven by a relentless thirst for resources, particularly the precious metals that held immense value in their own advanced society. Resources such as gold and silver were abundant in this new world, in the early ages of human history, and the Anunnaki wasted no time in enlisting the help of the indigenous human population to extract these riches. With their superior technology and strategic planning, the Anunnaki beings transformed humanity into a workforce for their intergalactic mining operations. This period in history is not one of divine benevolence, but of strategic resource acquisition orchestrated by a far more advanced alien civilization. But what if the awe-inspiring stories of Ishtar's seemingly divine powers were not supernatural at all, but rather sophisticated technology wielded by an extraterrestrial being far beyond human comprehension? To uncover the hidden truth about Ishtar, we must embark on a journey deep into the heart of ancient Sumerian texts, meticulously examining archaeological findings, and searching for the elusive clues that reveal her alien origins and her profound influence on the trajectory of human history. The story begins not on Earth, but in the celestial tapestry of ancient Mesopotamia, where the very first seeds of civilization were painstakingly planted, cultivated, and carefully manipulated by beings hailing from another world, a world far beyond our own. The conventional view of Ishtar as a goddess of love and war only scratches the surface. Did you know that Ishtar's 8-pointed star symbol might represent a specific star system she originated from, not just a generic symbol of divinity? What if the varying number of points isn't arbitrary, but signifies different planets within that system? Or perhaps, distinct levels of technological advancement attained by her civilization? Consider that alternative interpretations suggest each point correlates to a specific energy frequency harnessed by the Anunnaki, an energy source far beyond our current scientific comprehension. This brings us to question if it is possible that the Anunnaki left these symbols for us to one day discover the secrets hidden within. Ancient Sumerian texts describe Ishtar descending from the heavens in a boat of the sky, an object that defies simple categorization. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, specifically Tablet VI, lines 5-10, Ishtar attempts to seduce Gilgamesh, promising him power and riches, stating, "Come, Gilgamesh, be thou my lover. Grant me of thy fruit. Thou shalt be my spouse, and I will grant thee gifts of lapis and gold." This descent, described with awe and wonder, could be interpreted not as a divine visitation, but rather as the arrival of a technologically advanced spacecraft, capable of traversing interstellar distances. We must consider what these texts truly mean. This is significant because it suggests Ishtar wasn't merely a deity dispensing blessings or curses, but a member of an advanced civilization capable of interstellar travel, implying a level of technological prowess that dwarfs our own. What this further suggests is that the Sumerians, lacking the scientific framework to understand such technology, witnessed and recorded this event through their own cultural lens, interpreting advanced machinery as divine intervention. Sumerian cosmology viewed the sky as a solid dome with celestial bodies embedded within. Their understanding of the cosmos and what we consider space today was extremely limited. What implications does this have? What if they were not describing just a boat but a spacecraft? But that's not all. Beyond Ishtar's mode of transportation, another anomaly is her persistent association with lions. What could the lion represent, if not merely a symbol of earthly power? What if the lion, in this context, represents something far more sinister, a symbol of advanced technology and the Anunnaki's deliberate control over the burgeoning human population of Earth? What if it was a genetically created animal, designed specifically to be loyal and terrifying? Is it possible the Anunnaki weaponized the beasts of the earth for their own gains? Ishtar is often depicted standing on or accompanied by lions, an animal not native to all the regions where she was worshipped, but rather a symbol deliberately transplanted to project authority. For example, the Queen of the Night relief, currently housed in the British Museum, shows Ishtar flanked by owls and lions, symbols of power and dominion. The lions, muscular and imposing, are not mere decorative elements. They are integral to her image, serving as constant reminders of her strength and control. Other examples can be found on cylinder seals dating back to the early dynastic period. What could the utilization of the same animal symbolize? This association of Ishtar with lions could signify advanced genetic engineering, a technology far beyond the grasp of ancient Sumerians, yet seemingly wielded effortlessly by the Anunnaki. What this also could imply is that the Anunnaki possessed the knowledge and ability to manipulate and create new species on Earth, solidifying their place in the new world order that is humanity's current iteration. Perhaps this solidifying of a new world order also involved them ensuring that all subsequent humans would worship them as gods and continue to provide resources to them, ensuring a supply chain would not be broken. Now, let's consider another aspect of Ishtar, her descent into the underworld. Was this merely a symbolic journey into the realm of death and rebirth, or does it reveal the location of an ancient, subterranean alien base, a hidden Anunnaki outpost concealed beneath the Earth's surface? What if Ishtar was going back to her home base to gather new information, or technology, or possibly even recruit more members of her race to come to Earth? What could await her down there? The myth of Ishtar's descent into the underworld involves her passing through 7 gates, each guarded by a gatekeeper who demands she remove an article of clothing or jewelry. What if this wasn't just a symbolic stripping away of earthly possessions, but a precisely orchestrated security protocol, a decontamination process necessary to access the advanced technology housed within the underground facilities? Each item removed, from her crown to her breastplate to her shoes, could represent a specific layer of protection against biohazards or energy fields within the Annunaki base. What was the significance of 7 levels? This could be interpreted as Ishtar following the Annunaki rules or customs to enter an alien location, a place where technology and knowledge far beyond human comprehension were stored. Why is this myth so persistent, echoing across cultures and millennia? It may be because the ancients, whether they fully understood it or not, passed down the story of an actual visit to an Annunaki location, a place of both wonder and potential danger. What was the cost of entering the facility? What was the risk? But that's not all. Ishtar's relationships with other gods and mortals, often tumultuous and driven by both desire and power, can be seen not just as personal dramas, but as carefully orchestrated diplomatic missions and clandestine genetic experiments on early humans, actions with repercussions that continue to reverberate through our DNA. Could we find Annunaki DNA in the human genome today? Could Ishtar be our mother? Ishtar's numerous relationships, both consensual and non-consensual, with gods and humans could be interpreted as strategic alliances aimed at influencing the political and social landscape of ancient Mesopotamia, and as calculated experiments designed to spread Annunaki genetics across the planet. For example, her relationship with Dumuzi/Tammuz, the shepherd god, could have been a deliberate attempt to create a hybrid lineage, combining Annunaki traits with human characteristics. Similarly, her rejection by Gilgamesh, the powerful king of Uruk, may have been a missed opportunity to further Annunaki influence. What if there were other gods looking to influence humanity as well? These relationships could have had a far-reaching purpose of influencing the political and social landscape of ancient Mesopotamia, shaping the development of human civilization according to the Annunnaki's own agenda. Perhaps she and other Annunaki were not merely observing humanity, but actively experimenting on them, manipulating their DNA to create a more compliant and productive workforce, a race designed to serve their needs. Could the Annunaki still be performing these experiments today? What were the long-term effects of their genetic manipulation? So, what have we learned? The boat of the sky, the lions at her side, her descents into the underworld, and her complex relationships with other gods and mortals all support the idea that Ishtar was not just a goddess, but a powerful Annunaki being, an alien overlord who shaped the destiny of early humanity. This brings us to the crucial point that the old stories, dismissed as mere myths and legends, may be far more literal than previously understood, containing coded accounts of extraterrestrial contact and genetic manipulation. But we're just scratching the surface of Ishtar's hidden history, because what we'll discover next is even more shocking: Ishtar's allegiances in the Annunaki Civil War. But that's not all. What if the tablets point to a power struggle and war among the Annunaki on Earth, which would drastically impact humans? Did Ishtar have a stake in it, and what was her allegiances? Could this explain some of the seemingly contradictory actions attributed to her throughout history, revealing a more complex and nuanced picture of her role in shaping human destiny? It's a forbidden chapter, hidden within the ancient texts, waiting to be revealed. Ancient texts hint at a civil war among the Annunaki, with different factions vying for control of Earth's resources and influence over humanity. Ishtar, known for her ambition and cunning, would be involved for her own agenda. The Enuma Elish, a Babylonian creation epic, describes a conflict between the older generation of gods, led by Apsu and Tiamat, and the younger generation led by Marduk. While the text focuses on Marduk's victory, it also alludes to deeper divisions and power struggles within the Anunnaki ranks. Was Ishtar a key player? Was she a spy? What side did she choose? In Tablet IV of the Enuma Elish, it is written, "The Lord paused, surveying her dead body, that he might divide the monster and do cunning things therewith." This division and cunning could symbolize the division of the Anunnaki themselves, with Ishtar potentially playing a strategic role in manipulating events to her advantage. What advantage could she have sought? The advantage of power? Or the advantage of survival? This conflict could explain many of the inconsistencies and contradictions in Ishtar's mythology. How did she manipulate warring factions amongst humanity during early civilization for her own gain? And what was her stake in the matter? What if Ishtar played different sides against each other in order to accumulate wealth and power for herself? Or perhaps she thought that only she knew what was best for humanity. Did she consider herself a friend or a foe? Consider the words of Enki, as recorded in a fragmented tablet found in the ruins of Eridu. Ishtar was ever a storm, a force of chaos and creation. She played her own game, and none could truly claim to understand her motives. She saw the board, the players, and the pieces long before we did, and she moved them according to her own design. So Enki was saying, "Now, let's turn our attention to her marital relationship dynamics amongst kings." Could it be that Ishtar was not just a goddess, but a kingmaker, using her relationships to control kingdoms and influence human history? What if she used her favor as a tool to manipulate rulers, promising them power and prosperity in exchange for their loyalty and obedience? What if some of these kings were not even human, but Anunnaki themselves? Historical records show that Ishtar was often associated with kings and rulers, and her favor was seen as essential for their legitimacy and success. However, these rulers weren't necessarily human. For example, the Sumerian king list mentions several rulers who claimed divine parentage, suggesting a close connection between the Anunnaki and the ruling class. What if Ishtar was the key to establishing this divine right to rule, carefully selecting and grooming certain individuals to serve her agenda? One such example is Sargon of Akkad, who rose from humble origins to become the ruler of a vast empire. Legends claim that Ishtar favored him, granting him success in battle and ensuring his reign. But was this divine favor, or a calculated move to consolidate her power in the region? As the ancient scribes wrote, Ishtar smiled upon Sargon, and his enemies trembled before him. But what did Sargon have to offer? What if her relationships with kings were strategic alliances designed to consolidate her power and influence? What if Ishtar sought to control them for a new world order? What would her goal be? Perhaps Ishtar envisioned a world where humanity and the Anunnaki coexisted in harmony, with her as the benevolent ruler, guiding them towards a golden age. Or perhaps her motives were far more selfish, seeking to establish a global empire under her control, with humans as mere pawns in her game. Was there even a world order that she had in mind? But that's not all. Did you know that these temples weren't just places of worship, but also served as communication hubs or research facilities for the Anunnaki? It seems Ishtar had more stake in humanity than we think. Could these temples be more than what we understand? Were the temples used as a form of research and surveillance? Was there a laboratory inside? The layout and design of Ishtar's temples could align to other dimensions or star systems, and there is something to be said about the precision and orientation. There were many advanced technologies for that time, and we have yet to understand how. The ziggurats, with their towering structures and precise astronomical alignments, could have served as beacons, transmitting signals across vast distances to communicate with other Anunnaki outposts or even their home planet. It's important to remember that modern science is just beginning to understand the potentials of torsion fields. And what if the Anunnaki already mastered this? The orientation of Ishtar's temple in Uruk, for example, aligns with certain constellations, suggesting a deliberate connection to the cosmos. Could this alignment have been used to harness cosmic energies, amplifying their communication capabilities, or even opening portals to other dimensions? It is also important to remember that these temples had a great deal of gold involved. Was the gold a means for electrical energy? If these temples align with other dimensions, then the possibilities can only be speculated. Given that Ishtar played an important role on Earth, then there is reason to believe she communicated or had the means to send messages back home. Perhaps Ishtar used these temples to stay in contact with the Anunnaki leadership, reporting on her progress and receiving instructions on how to proceed. Or perhaps she used them to communicate with other extraterrestrial civilizations, forging alliances and expanding her influence beyond Earth. How else could such a civilization grow? As Thoth, the Egyptian scribe and keeper of ancient knowledge, said, the temples were more than just houses of worship. They were gateways to the stars, conduits of energy, and repositories of knowledge. Ishtar understood this, and she used them to her advantage, weaving her web of influence across the dimensions. So Thoth was saying, and what did he want? So, what have we learned? There was war among the Anunnaki, Ishtar could have been a kingmaker, and the temples could be a means for communication. Ishtar may not have only been an alien overlord, but controlled every aspect of early human life. This brings us to the crucial point that the Anunnaki wanted to control the very fabric of humanity and its fate. What they don't want you to know is that the Anunnaki controlled the very essence of what it means to be human. What if the Anunnaki are still here to this day? But that's just the beginning, because what we'll discover next will truly challenge your perceptions of who Ishtar truly was, her genetic experiments with humans. But that's not all. Let's consider a more controversial claim. Did Ishtar conduct genetic experiments on humans, possibly to create new races or improve existing ones? What can the Anunnaki tablets tell us? Ishtar may have not only been the queen of heaven, but a geneticist who held the very key to creating humanity. Certain ancient texts and cylinder seals depict the Anunnaki creating humans, including the process of mixing their DNA. Ishtar, playing a vital role for the Anunnaki, was likely to have a hand in it. In the Atrahasis epic, one of the earliest Mesopotamian flood myths, the Anunnaki goddess Ninti is tasked with creating humans from clay mixed with the blood of a slain god. This act of creation could be interpreted as a metaphor for genetic engineering, with the Anunnaki manipulating DNA to create a new species. As it is written on cylinder seal AO 601, the gods mixed their blood with the clay to fashion mankind for the service of the gods. And in service they did, but for whom? The long-term effects of Ishtar's supposed genetic experiments include a range of genetic manipulation in order to strengthen certain skills in humans. The Anunnaki may have sought to create a workforce tailored to their specific needs, engineering humans with enhanced physical strength for mining operations, increased intelligence for administrative tasks, or specialized skills for craftsmanship and agriculture. Could there have been even more reasons to create human types? Or perhaps Ishtar was more concerned with appearances? Was humanity merely puppets that the Anunnaki used? Consider the different social hierarchies in ancient Sumerian society, with a clear division of labor between priests, scribes, warriors, and laborers. Could these social classes have been the result of deliberate genetic manipulation by the Anunnaki, with each group engineered for a specific purpose? In fact, the Anunnaki could have split the social classes by their genetics, with some better suited than others. As the ancient scholar Berossus wrote, the Anunnaki created mankind in their own image, but they also bestowed upon them different gifts and talents, according to their own divine plan. So Berossus was saying, and did the Anunnaki have a divine plan? But that's not all. The role temples may have played in genetic manipulation goes beyond our current understanding. If temples weren't just places of worship, but also advanced research facilities, where would this take us and why? What if the temples were even a means to resurrect the dead? Did they know that if they had the correct genetic information, they could bring them back? The structure of Ishtar's temples may have served as research facilities for a variety of purposes, with some being for genetic manipulation. What could be determined from analyzing these tablets? The layout of many of Ishtar's temples included secluded chambers, hidden passageways, and underground vaults, which could have been used for clandestine experiments. The presence of sophisticated water systems and drainage channels within these temples suggests that they may have been used for chemical processes or biological research. It could have been that she and the other Anunnaki had no idea what they were doing. Archaeological findings from Ishtar's temples have revealed unusual artifacts, such as strange tools, intricate glassware, and ceramic vessels containing traces of unknown substances. These artifacts could be interpreted as evidence of advanced scientific equipment used for genetic manipulation or other forms of biological research. As Enki once said, the temples were not merely places of worship, but also laboratories of creation, where the secrets of life and death were explored. So Enki was saying, and what was he hoping to discover? It has been speculated that one of the experiments involved genetic manipulation due to the discovery of skeletons with elongated skulls. In this case, it is important to analyze other ancient civilization skulls to reinforce this analysis. Many ancient cultures, including the Egyptians, Mayans, and Incas, practiced artificial cranial deformation, a process of binding infants' heads to create elongated skulls. While this practice was primarily a cultural phenomenon, some researchers believe that it may have been inspired by the Anunnaki, who may have possessed naturally elongated skulls as a result of their own genetic makeup. What if the other civilizations admired the shape of their heads? The elongated skulls found in Ishtar's temples could be evidence of genetic experiments aimed at replicating this Anunnaki trait in humans, or perhaps modifying them to better suit Ishtar's needs. If Ishtar was trying to genetically modify humans, what was she trying to accomplish? Perhaps she tried to replicate their Anunnaki DNA into humans. One thing they don't want you to know is that the shape of our skull can determine our genetic structure. So, what have we learned? Ishtar and the Anunnaki conducted genetic experiments on humans, and the temples served a role for it. This brings us to the crucial point that the implications of her alien nature are far-reaching and challenge our understanding of human history. What they don't want you to know is that the very temples themselves had the facilities for such experiments, but we're just scratching the surface of Ishtar's influence on humanity. What we'll discover next about the Anunnaki and their war on Earth is even more shocking. XXXI. Core Premise Establishment Deep Dive. Ishtar's symbols are far more than mere decoration. They are a potential window into the advanced technology and interstellar origins of the Anunnaki. What if these symbols, passed down through millennia, were not just artistic representations, but encoded blueprints, technological schematics, or maps to other worlds? The key to truly understanding Ishtar's influence lies in deciphering the hidden meanings behind these enduring images. This reveals a deeper pattern concerning the role of symbolism and visual cues in transferring forbidden knowledge through generations. What if the truth has been in plain sight all along, hidden within the art and iconography of ancient civilizations? XXXII. Core Evidence Presentation Layer 1. Ishtar's rosette symbol, often depicted with 8 petals, may indeed signify a gateway or portal system used for interstellar travel by the Anunnaki. According to some interpretations of ancient Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki spoke of the gates of the gods, passages through which they traveled between worlds. These gates were not merely metaphorical. They were described as shimmering vortexes, points where the fabric of space and time could be manipulated. Examine, for example, Cylinder Seal VA-243, which is believed to depict the Anunnaki arriving to Earth with a depiction of a rosette-like shape at the top. Could these be stargates? Did Ishtar know about them? XXXIII. Elaboration and Analysis Layer 2. This is significant because it means Ishtar and the Anunnaki possibly possessed a way to traverse space via advanced technology far beyond our current understanding. What this could imply is that they were capable of manipulating space and time, creating shortcuts through the cosmos. What if the Anunnaki reverse-engineered the very fabric of time and space? Compare the rosette symbol to modern theories about wormholes or stargates, drawing parallels between ancient symbolism and theoretical physics. The ability to travel vast interstellar distances instantly would have given the Anunnaki an unparalleled advantage, allowing them to establish colonies, extract resources, and influence civilizations across the galaxy. This rewrite of interstellar travel could mean they were not as divine as they claimed to be. XXXIV. Transition and Next Premise Introduction. But that's not all. Let's analyze historical records to present her marital relationship dynamics amongst kings. If Ishtar had access to advanced technology and interstellar travel, it would be natural for her to be involved in politics. Did her choice of kings have an ulterior motive, and why did she seek them out? Could she have been trying to subtly guide humanity's development, or were her motives more self-serving? What if these kings were nothing more than experiments? XXXV. Core Evidence Presentation Layer 1. Historical records and tablets of the time show Ishtar and other Anunnaki manipulating the kings to consolidate their power. The Epic of Gilgamesh, for instance, recounts Ishtar's attempt to seduce the king Gilgamesh, and when he refused, she unleashed the bull of heaven upon his city. The actions point to how the Anunnaki were fighting amongst each other and utilizing humans as mere pawns. This shows Ishtar's tendency to use her influence and power to get what she wants, even if it means wreaking havoc on human society. As it is written on the tablets, her lust was a storm, her anger a flood, and her power knew no bounds. So the tablets say, and what was she hoping to flood? XXXVI. Elaboration and Analysis Layer 2. What if Ishtar was possibly seeking to create a new world order with herself at the top? What if the human kings were mere pawns in the plan to dominate the earth? This raises the question of whether Ishtar's relationships with human rulers were genuine or purely strategic. Perhaps she saw them as tools to achieve her own ends, manipulating their ambition and loyalty to advance her own agenda. The political structure of early Mesopotamia was characterized by constant power struggles between city-states. Perhaps Ishtar sought to exploit these rivalries, playing different factions against each other to establish her dominance. But this would also mean she was at war with the other Anunnaki for complete control over humanity. XXXVII. Transition and Next Premise Introduction. Now, let's transition to the fact that Ishtar and the Anunnaki were trying to rewrite history to their benefit. If they were indeed advanced aliens who manipulated human civilization, it would be logical for them to control the narrative, shaping humanity's understanding of its own past. Did they seek to eliminate any trace of civilization before them? What if the Anunnaki were not the first advanced civilization on Earth, and they deliberately erased evidence of their predecessors to secure their place in history? XXXVI. Core Evidence Presentation Layer 1. The ancient texts point to a rewrite of early civilization. What this means is that there were more advanced civilizations before the Anunnaki, and they sought to eliminate it. Certain accounts from the Epic of Gilgamesh hint at the existence of advanced technologies and civilizations predating the flood, which the Anunnaki supposedly unleashed upon the world. In addition, some archaeological findings, such as the Baghdad Battery and the Antikythera mechanism, suggest that ancient civilizations possessed knowledge and capabilities that are not fully accounted for in mainstream history. What was the true intent for these rewrite attempts? XXXIX. Elaboration and analysis, Layer 2. This rewrite could mean the Anunnaki sought to erase human history before them, so humanity had nothing to account for. What were the Anunnaki trying to mark, and what does this mean to humanity? This rewrite would grant them complete control over the narrative, preventing humanity from uncovering the truth about its origins and potential. It would leave humanity with no point of comparison, no alternative history to inspire resistance or rebellion. What if the Anunnaki even saw fit to erase the other Anunnaki's legacies? XL. Synthesis and pre-conclusion. So, what have we learned? The rosette symbol may not be only a symbol. The Anunnaki sought to manipulate the leaders for a new world order, and there may have been an agenda to rewrite ancient civilization. The alien nature may be rewritten, which will challenge mainstream narratives. This brings us to the most important point, that the truth about Ishtar's impact on humanity may have been hidden on purpose. The truth is that if they were here to extract resources, then they certainly would not want us to have their technology. But the question is, what is the full extent of her influence? And what secrets remain buried beneath the sands of time? But we're just scratching the surface of Ishtar's influence on humanity. What we'll discover next about her temple experiments will be even more shocking. Resolution signaling, time-based and direct statement. As we draw near the conclusion of our exploration into the mysteries surrounding Ishtar, it's time to reflect on the revelations uncovered and their implications for human history. We've journeyed through ancient texts, reinterpreted myths, and uncovered hidden connections, each step revealing a more complex and intriguing picture of this alien goddess. It is now time to consider what impact this all has to the grand scheme of ancient history. Are we ready to change the narrative? Summary approach, thematic restatement, and key point enumeration. The conventional understanding of Ishtar as merely a goddess fails to capture the true scope of her influence. Instead, evidence suggests she was an Anunnaki alien overlord wielding advanced technology and manipulating human civilization. Mainstream scholars present Ishtar as a deity of love, war, and fertility, but this narrative ignores the compelling evidence of advanced technology, interstellar travel, and genetic manipulation found in the ancient texts. By examining these alternative interpretations, we reveal the potential true scope of Ishtar's power and influence. We've examined her 8-pointed star as a possible interstellar portal, her relationships with kings as strategic alliances, her temples as communication hubs, and her potential involvement in genetic experiments. Each element points to a hidden history. The 8-pointed star, a recurring symbol in Ishtar's iconography, may indeed represent a Stargate system used by the Anunnaki for interstellar travel. Her relationships with kings, as documented in ancient texts, may have been strategic alliances aimed at consolidating power and advancing her own agenda. The temples dedicated to Ishtar may have served not only as places of worship, but also as communication hubs or research facilities for the Anunnaki. Her potential involvement in genetic experiments raises profound questions about the origins of humanity and the extent of Anunnaki intervention in our genetic code. Are we merely products of our own evolution, or are we the result of extraterrestrial meddling? Insight delivery, unexpected twist in synthesis statement. While often seen as a powerful goddess, the evidence suggests a more complex picture. Ishtar may have been a high-ranking Anunnaki official implementing a predetermined plan for Earth, and may have been more than we expect. She was not just a deity of love and war, but a key player in a grand, cosmic drama, executing a plan set in motion long before humanity walked the Earth. She may have been tasked with overseeing the development of human civilization, guiding its progress, and ensuring its compliance with Anunnaki objectives. But who tasked her, and what was the price for failing? Ultimately, Ishtar's story is not just a tale of gods and goddesses, but a window into a possible extraterrestrial influence on human civilization, prompting us to reconsider our origins and question the accepted narratives of history. Her story forces us to confront the possibility that our history has been shaped by forces beyond our comprehension, and that the accepted narratives of our origins may be incomplete or even deliberately misleading. It is a call to challenge the status quo, to question authority, and to seek the truth, no matter how uncomfortable or unsettling it may be. IV. Broadening mechanisms, historical contextualization, and future implications. Ishtar's influence echoes throughout ancient Mesopotamian history and the myths of other cultures, suggesting a deeper interconnected history of humanity and extraterrestrial interactions. The echoes of her influence can be seen in the myths and legends of other cultures, from the Egyptian goddess Isis to the Greek goddess Aphrodite, suggesting a common thread of extraterrestrial influence woven into the fabric of human history. This interconnectedness challenges the notion of isolated cultural development and points to a more complex web of interactions between humanity and otherworldly beings. How much influence has it had in the world? The legacy of Ishtar raises questions about the nature of free will, the potential for future extraterrestrial contact, and the responsibility of humanity in shaping its own destiny. How do we prepare for contact, or have we already made contact in the past? Are we truly free to chart our own course, or are we merely puppets dancing on strings pulled by unseen forces? The potential for future extraterrestrial contact looms large, raising questions about our readiness to encounter other civilizations and the ethical implications of such encounters. How do we ensure that contact is beneficial for both parties, and how do we avoid repeating the mistakes of the past? Emotional resolution, sense of wonder and hopeful note. The sheer scale of Ishtar's potential influence and the mysteries that still surround her leave us humbled, reminding us of the vast unknowns that still await discovery and the boundless potential of the cosmos. It's a call to embrace the unknown, to remain open to new possibilities, and to never stop questioning the world around us. For it is in the pursuit of knowledge that we unlock our true potential and discover our place in the grand tapestry of the universe. With each step, we grow closer to understanding the secrets of existence, and with each revelation, we expand our horizons and challenge our preconceived notions. Despite the complexities and uncertainties, the pursuit of knowledge and the courage to question accepted narratives demonstrate the potential for positive change and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. It is in the questioning that we evolve. As we challenge our own beliefs, we create space for new possibilities to emerge, and we begin to see the world from a new perspective. In seeking alternative perspectives, we can begin to see a world that has not been shown to us by mainstream media. VI. Call to action, direct call and implied future engagement. If you found this video enlightening, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who seek alternative perspectives on history and ancient mysteries. By sharing this video, you are helping to spread awareness of alternative perspectives and encouraging others to question the accepted narratives of history. The more people who are willing to challenge the status quo, the closer we get to the truth, and the more we get to see the light. Do your part to share the video with at least one friend. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll delve deeper into prehistoric Earth and the Pyramid Wars, exploring more ancient cosmic mysteries and legends. The Pyramid Wars will reveal the secrets behind these massive structures and their connection to ancient conflicts. Are they just tombs for pharaohs, or are they something far more significant? Join us as we journey to the heart of these mysteries and uncover the truth about the Pyramid Wars and how they impact humanity. VII. Closing device, signature phrase, and thematic bookend. May the eternal light forever guide your path. Thus, we return to the question of Ishtar's true nature, armed with a new perspective and a deeper understanding of the possibilities. The search for the truth continues. What truths will we uncover next? And will humanity ever truly understand the full extent of Ishtar's influence? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The pursuit of knowledge is a never-ending journey, and the mysteries of the past will continue to beckon us forward.